Hello, welcome to Chapter 4 review. So this is, again, the review for Chapter 4, accent patterns, word stress patterns. Usually word stress is in a predictable place. You can figure out where it is just by looking at the word sometimes. So in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to look at a word and find where the word stress is, even if you haven't heard the word before. Go ahead and open your book to page 52, and let's start. So at the very top, this is stress patterns in words with 2 syllables. Many English words with 2 syllables have a very easy stress pattern, and essentially goes something like this. So first, go through all of these words and find where the word stress is. So for example, this is missile, taxi, college. These are all nouns, and there's 2 syllables in it. These words, something similar is going to start happening. Quickly, sadly, mostly. So the word stress is on the first syllable again. These words are all adverbs, and there's 2 syllables in them. These words, yellow, hungry, tiny. These words all have 2 syllables, and the stress is on the first syllable. These words are all adjectives, and they have 2 syllables. Now something different is going to happen here. Listen to this. Ready? Betray, decide, attract. These words are all verbs. They have 2 syllables, but the word stress was on the second syllable. For all of these words, the word stress was on the first syllable. For the verbs, however, the word stress was on the second syllable. What does this mean? It means that there's a pattern here. This is the first pattern I want you to know about. It applies only to words with 2 syllables. So again, only words with 2 syllables will follow this pattern, but here it is. If the word is a verb, the stress syllable is the second syllable. If the word is not a verb, if it's anything else, the stress syllable is the first syllable. This pattern will help you with a lot of words. And again, this is a pattern. This is not a 100% rule. I do want you to know that there are some exceptions to this rule. So for example, listen, offer, open are all 2-syllable verbs, but the stress is on the first syllable. These are the exceptions to the rule. There aren't very many of them. But unfortunately, we use the word listen, offer, and open fairly often, so you do have to know that. Let's move on to the next accent pattern. So moving on down to page 54. So I want you to look at all these words, and I want you to know they all have these types of suffixes. Suffixes are additions to the end of a word that alternate its meaning, that change its meaning. And if you add a suffix to a word, the word stress changes as well. And in fact, for most suffixes, the word stress is always in the same place. That is, if you have a certain suffix, the word stress is always in the same syllable. So let's learn this pattern now. The suffixes I want you to know about today are the ik suffix, the shul suffix, the shun suffix, and there are 3 different spellings for the shun suffix. So information, communication, the shun sound. There's 3 spellings of it, but they're all pronounced shun. Notice there's a schwa in there. That's kind of indicative of what's going to happen. Graphy, iffy, oji, iri, and yul. If these suffixes are in a word, the word stress is always in the same place. Go ahead and go down to A, and I'm going to pronounce all of these words quickly. And I want you to put a check in the box of the syllable that has the word stress. So, for example, all of these words in this column have 3 syllables. So we have 3 boxes. Put a check in the box that has the word stress syllable. Ready? You're going to notice it's always in the same place. Also notice that the suffixes in these words are the ones listed above. If these suffixes are in a word, the word stress is always in the same place. Ready? Here we go. These four. Reduction, addiction, financial, robotic. Hope you've noticed that the second syllable in all of these words had word stress. Let's go to the four-syllable words. Again, all of these words have a suffix listed above, and they all have word stress on the same syllable. Mark the box that has the syllable with word stress. Ready? Industrial, politician, automatic, minority. So I hope you've noticed that all of these words had word stress in the third syllable. That is, the suffix is the last syllable, and the stress was one before it. Here too, the suffix was the last syllable, but the word stress is one before it. Let's see if this rule applies to the five-syllable words as well. All of these words end in the shun suffix ending. Where is the word stress? Here, I want to point out, again, that the last syllable is the suffix. Where's the word stress? Ready? Verification, distribution, contamination. I hope you notice that word stress is in the fourth syllable. So again, the word stress in all of these words is one syllable before the suffix. One syllable before the suffix. And this gives you the second word stress pattern. Here's what I want you to know. The stress rule for the ick, ickle, shun, graphy, iffy, okie, itty, ishal suffixes is this. The stress syllable is one syllable before the suffix. If you have an ick, ickle, shun, graphy, iffy, okie, itty, ill suffix in a word, the word stress is one syllable before it. There are exceptions to this. So again, it's a pattern. It's not a 100% perfect rule. So for example, the word television has word stress on the first syllable, not the third one. The word politics has stress on the first one, not the second one. So there are exceptions to this, but in general, this is a very good rule that applies to basically 99% of all of the words that have these suffixes. So let's go on to other stress patterns. All of these words have these suffixes in them. So they have ate or ater in the word. If ate or ater is in the word stress is always in the same place. So let's start with the three-syllable words. I'll say each word one time quickly, and I want you to mark the box that has the word stress. Again, notice that the last syllable in these words is ate. If ate is in the word stress is always in the same place. Where is it? Ready? Here we go. Indicate, demonstrate, participate. So ate is the last syllable, but the word stress was the first one. It was two syllables before it. Let's see if this happens with the four-syllable words. Ready? Mark the box with the word stress. Here, ate is the third syllable. Here we go. Indicated, demonstrated, participated. Here, the word stress is two syllables before ate. Now let's go to five-syllable words with ate in it. Here, ate is the fourth syllable. It's not the last one, it's the fourth one. Ready? Here we go. Collaborated, collaborating, investigating. Here, the word stress was in the second syllable, so it's two syllables before ate. And this brings us to the third word stress rule. This is stress pattern rule number 4. Should actually be 3, sorry about that. So word stress rule number 3, stress rule for ate and ater suffixes. For words that have ate or ater in them, the word stress is always two syllables before ate or ater. So let's move on to one more word stress pattern. This pattern applies to the suffixes that are derived from the French language. When English imported a lot of words, they took many words from Latin, and they especially took a lot of words from French. They also took the suffixes from the French language. And when we use these in English, they have a very easy to remember word stress pattern. So, all of the words here have French suffixes. They have suffixes that are spelled in the French manner and are pronounced in the French manner as well. So these words here are all 2 syllables. The French suffix is the last syllable. These words all have 3 syllables, and the French suffix is the 3rd syllable. Where are the word stresses? Put a check in the box. Ready? So, 2-syllable words first. Technique, diskette, routine. Here I want you to know the suffix is the last syllable, and the word stress is the last syllable too. Now let's go to 3-syllable words. Volunteer, referee, picturesque. So here, the suffix is the last syllable, and the word stress is the last syllable as well. And this brings us to stress pattern rule number 4. So, stress rule for s, esk, ik, et, in suffixes. These are all French suffixes. If you have these suffixes, these spellings in a word, the word stress syllable is always on the suffix. So that's the rule. If you have a French suffix, the word stress is always on the suffix itself. There's one more rule I want you to know. This is a very easy one. All of these words are compound nouns. So, for example, high and school are compound. High is a noun, high is a word, and school is a word. Together they become a new word. They become a compound. Birth and day are 2 separate words, but birthday is a compound. Web is a word. Site is a word. Website is a new word, and it's a compound. Compounds have a very easy stress rule. If you have a compound noun, if you have a compound word, 2 words that come together to become a different idea, then the first one, the first word in the compound has the word stress. So here's the rule. Stress rule for compound nouns and compound adjectives. The first word in the compound has the stressed syllable. So this is the end of the review for Chapter 4, Accent Patterns. The patterns I taught you in this video and this lesson are good for a lot of words in English. Of course, it doesn't cover all the patterns in English, but these are a good majority of them. So good luck on the quiz. Goodbye.